poll indicates that a huge portion of Republican voters actually do not trust Donald Trump. They do not believe he is an honest person, but the majority of them approve of the job he's doing in the White House. So this is an Associated Press and ORC Center for Public Affairs research poll, and it found that Trump's approval rating currently stands at 42%, while disapproval stands at 56%. Now, among Republicans, Trump is seen as a strong leader who stands up for what he believes in, but only 53% of them think that Trump is honest, and 31% find him undisciplined.
Yeah, I want to get into more of these numbers because they're really interesting. And I like how this is being described as a shock poll. It's a shock poll.
No, but it is, I don't know if shocking is the right word, but if I don't trust someone, I don't want them to be my leader. If someone is dishonest and I'm acknowledging that they're dishonest, I'm not going to approve of them. Like the fact that they approve of him, they think he's doing a great job, but they don't trust him is amazing to me.
Amazing, but I think that there are some encouraging numbers in here. First of all, in terms of the devastation of Trump's polling numbers, I got another one for you. 61% of Americans think Trump does not have much respect for the country's democratic institutions. So that's encouraging because that's a big number and they're right. So it's nice to see that 6 out of 10 Americans go, no, I can see it with my own eyes. Yeah, he does not believe in democracy, doesn't respect our democratic institutions at all. So then you go to whether he's a strong leader. Now, first of all, the big number here is 85% of Republicans still support Donald Trump, but that's not a shock poll to us. We've been telling you that all along. In fact, he's slipping a little bit. He usually is consistently in the 90s, so he's down to 85%. Losing 15% of Republican voters is an interesting development, okay? But when you ask more details, like when you ask Republicans, is he a strong leader? Now, I would have thought that number would be sky high. It's only 69%. Wow, that's interesting. So 3 out of 10 Republicans can see, ain't that strong. He's insecure.
Baby.
So look, that means the cult is not quite as strong as we thought it was, right? Because if you're a cult member of cult 45, if you will, then you would say, no, he's very strong and he's very effective and he's very honest, etc. Among Republicans, only 53% think he's honest. Only 53% think he's honest, that's amazing. And so, how about disciplined? Only 39% of Republicans believe he's disciplined. So I was worried that we were losing track of reality, that we had a significant chunk of the country who just didn't see the same things we saw. We would see,
We still do, Cenk.
Yeah, we would see a purple dress and they'd see a white dress or whatever, right?
Yeah. And
so yes, that still applies to some decent chunk, but a lot more Republicans are like, no, I see it. The guy has no discipline at all. Not at all honest, and not that strong. I'll take that. Those are pretty good numbers. Are they proud of him? Only 65% of Republicans are proud of him. I would have thought that number would be 90%, because I would have thought that they'd look at him and be like, oh yeah, he hates the same people I hate, I'm proud of him, so what, right? But it's only 65%. And then excited, only 58% are excited by him. I would have thought that they'd be like, look, the guy lies every once in a while, maybe he's not that disciplined, but I'm excited because he's fighting for my side. Nope, only 58%. I would have expected all these numbers to be in the 80s and 90s. So that's the part that I guess shocks me. And then his approval rating on foreign policy and healthcare among Republicans also lower than I would have expected. Yeah.
So how much of this do you think, and I mean at this point it's speculation, but how many of these respondents do you think are part of the so-called whisper voters, right? The people who will respond to the polls answering in a way that they deem is more acceptable, but in reality, they like Trump more than they're letting on?
I have no idea. Honestly, there's no evidence to determine that. I don't even have anecdotal evidence. Yeah. So in a sense, I hope these numbers are right. And remember guys, overall, he's at 42 and disapproval is at 56, as we told you in the beginning of the story. That's really bad. That's super bad for an incumbent president a year before the election. We're losing track of how bad that is. Any other president, people are like, oh my God, are they gonna primary him within the party? Because if you're under 50%, you're in trouble. 42 is really bad. You're underwater by 14 points. Last thing, not having to do with Trump, but having to do with an important policy issue. 48% of Americans say the United States uses military force in foreign conflicts too much. 48%, 42 say the right amount. Only 9% believe the military force isn't used often enough. So when you turn on cable news, it's always pushing for war and conflict and why didn't you bomb Syria? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you keep the forces in, etc. But in reality, most of the country agrees. Only 9% want more force. That's a very small number. 48% say, no, we're doing too much, bring him back, bring him back. So that is both progressives and conservatives agreeing. So Trump did the withdrawal from Syria in a botched way, and it's not really a withdrawal because we just moved the troops around, right? But if he actually was for withdrawal, the country would agree with him, even though all of cable news doesn't.
Yeah, later in the show, we actually have a story about how Trump has ramped up the conflicts abroad, especially when it comes to CIA-backed groups in Afghanistan who have now been accused of committing war crimes. So don't be fooled by Trump. He's actually escalated conflict abroad and to a much higher degree compared to Obama. And Obama was terrible. So we'll get to that story and more later in the show. As always, if you're a member, you can check that out whenever you want because members have archives, access to the archives of our show, tyt.com/join to become a member.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.